Good evening, everybody. This is my second try to give this presentation this evening. I've gotten frustrated with myself because I keep saying when I'm starting to think and not focusing on what I'm doing. That's another one. It's very frustrating. So I'm going to try to clear those out of this presentation. It's hard to change a habit. The goal tonight is to talk about sales for non-salespeople. Everybody's in sales. If you want to make it in this world, you're going to need to sell. Sell a date to a potential wife or husband. You're going to sell a big project to your boss. You're going to need to sell your kids on going to bed early. You need to sell. The benefits of selling: increased communication with your spouse, comfortable around salespeople, getting stuff done at work. For instance, if you're needing to convince your boss of something, it will help you to sell it to them. And selling is the ultimate way to take control of your life. Most salespeople, they are constantly learning, always going to seminars and everything to learn how to do things better, how to take control of their life and try to increase their income. Well, you, in this case, I recommend you learn and you take control of your life by figuring out how to do things better. It's total bootstrapping. Some examples of selling is going out to a movie, and then if it's something you like, trying to tell your friends about it. You're selling it to them when you're sharing your enthusiasm with your friends. Money's not exchanging hands, but your friends are excited to hear what you have to say because they trust you. You need to sell to get a date, to convince that of the opposite sex, male or female, to go out with you on a date. You need to really sell. I know all of us have been in that situation where we tried to get a date and we've been shut down. Well, we didn't sell good enough, well enough. I don't know how to use English. And selling your project to your boss. If you're wanting to spend a ton of money on a new piece of equipment that's going to improve the process and save lots of money in the long term, you're going to need to sell it to your boss because your boss may not realize that at the beginning. Sales is not the car salesman. Everybody has met the car salesman or that one multi-level marketing salesperson that's always trying to push something and doesn't care about what your needs are. They're just trying to make that buck. Sales is building a relationship. You cannot sell something to somebody, especially in this day and age, without having a relationship. Sales is a transfer of feeling or sharing of enthusiasm. I said again. Need to quit. Sales is trust. You have to have trust if you're going to sell something to somebody. And service. Through sales, you will serve people. You will help them to reach their goals. Some of the concepts in sales are: you need to sell the sizzle, not the steak. If you look at those steak commercials, they're always showing you pictures of the people enjoying themselves, the food they're eating, enjoying the food, the steak cooking. They are not telling you, here's a steak, it comes from a cow, you will like to eat it. They're getting your emotions caught up in it. You need to tell me why, not just the how, if you're going to sell me something. If you're trying to convince me that getting out of debt's a good idea, and you say to get out of debt you need to do a budget, I'm not going to be enthusiastic at all about doing a budget. But if you explain to me why I need to do a budget, why I need to get out of debt, so I can send my kids to college, so I don't have to have car payments anymore, all those things. That's how you tell me why. We make decisions based on emotions. That's what you need to think about when you're selling to somebody. Your emotions and whoever you're selling to's emotions is helping them make those decisions. It kind of goes back to that sizzle and not the steak. You need to communicate to the individual, not yourself. If you're communicating the way they want to be communicated to, then you'll be able to sell it. I'm a big numbers person, as I said. I am a recovering engineer, and I know that when I talk to people, I can't just throw numbers at them. I have to consider the way they think. My wife, she thinks more on how people feel, and I need to consider that when I'm trying to convince my wife of something. you need to be persistent in sales. You're going to get a lot of pushback. Call these objections. We'll talk about those later. And no matter what it is you're selling, nobody cares as much as you because you know more about it, you spent more time around it, you've seen the benefits that others have gotten from it, and it is hard for another person you're just talking to about it to fully reach the level of feeling that you have. You have to be passionate about the product. In a lot of sales organizations, I said again, they're going to tell you that you need to buy the product. They're not telling you that because they want you to spend money so they can make money on you. They're telling you that because the best you're going to be able to sell a product if you own the product. If you're selling pots and pans, you've got to own those pots and pans and know how well they work and how good they are for cooking your food in order for you to tell your friends about it. Otherwise, you're just making up stories. Oops. Sales, you need to find a need. If you're trying to convince your boss that they need to have blue floors instead of gray floors, if your boss does not feel that that's important, you're not helping your boss reach any goals with that, you're not filling the need of your boss. But if you convince your boss that you need to buy a piece of equipment that's going to increase the production by 3 times, then that's really finding that need. So you need to really ask questions and know the person you're going to be selling to figure out what their needs are. And then you can use your ideas to fill it. Qualifying. If you look at this picture, you're wondering, what does a fly have to do with this? This is my Qualify. I know that's kind of silly, but couldn't find another clip art picture that would work here. But if you need to qualify your prospects. A prospect is somebody who you're trying to sell to, but in qualifying, if you're trying to buy a huge piece of equipment for your shop floor and you go to your boss, you may find your boss is not the person you need to talk to. You may need to talk to your boss's boss. Your boss may not be able to say yes because they don't have the big pocketbooks. One of the president's wives, I'll have to get the quote later in the comment section, said, "Don't accept a no from somebody who cannot give you a yes." Ask questions. You need to ask tons of questions. This will help you qualify them. This will help you find that need that they have and then help you fill it. You need to figure out how you can help them. Whatever your idea is going to help fill that need that they have. And you need to know where they're coming from. Your boss may have they have a budget cut, and you need to understand this when you're selling a project to them. So you need to understand everything, know where they're coming from. Overcoming objections. If you have objections, that means the person is not qualified person to buy this from you. Buy whatever you're selling. It may not be exchange of money. And also overcoming I can't think. They're not qualified, or you haven't sold them. You haven't shared enough information with them and convince them that it's important for them to own this. There's going to always be objections unless you're just a great salesperson, which everybody has objections. You just got to be willing to overcome them. You got to answer those objections. If your boss says, "We can't buy this piece of equipment because it's too expensive," then you overcome that objection with saying, "Well, we're going to recoup our costs in 6 months, and then we're going to save twice as much as we were before." You've got to come up with answers to those objections. In selling anything to your boss to get a date, you need to follow up. For instance, you say you do bring this big piece of equipment into your company, and your boss is kind of confused about it. You need to follow up and say, "How can I help?" Because they need to trust you as a resource, because you're the one that knows all about this stuff, and they need to understand that they can follow up with you, and you can follow up with them to get information. Disqualifying. Sometimes you don't make the sale. You may find out that your boss did have a budget cut, and they are not able to buy the equipment. That means that you're going to have to say, "We're going to have to put this on the back burner. I'm not going to keep pushing this with my boss." So you disqualify. And essentially, breaking it down, is sales is service through effective communication. You're trying to serve somebody by fully understanding their needs and then helping them to fill their needs. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please send these presentations to your friends. I want to really help more people with this, and I can't help more people unless they know this is out here. I know you guys are talking to friends that are wanting to move up in the company, and I want to help you do that.